Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching our recorded presentation. Our talk is titled Entrepreneurial Competence in Chinese Women, Developing a Personalized Coaching Intervention. I'm Jiayi, speaking together with Zhou Lingxiuting and Jing. We jointly developed this project. In recent years, women's entrepreneurship in China has grown rapidly, especially among younger generations. Many entering the entrepreneurial landscape driven by digital innovation, national policy support, and a desire for self-actualization. Despite this promising momentum, these women face deeply rooted structural and psychological barriers hindering their development, such as gender stereotypes, unequal access to funding, limited professional networks, and ongoing tension between social expectations and personal aspirations. These challenges are not merely external, they shape the very competencies women bring to the entrepreneurship, including how they perceive opportunities, manage uncertainty, lead teams, and sustain motivation. Yet, existing entrepreneurial competence models are mostly Western developed based primarily on male entrepreneurs and lack cultural and gender sensitivity. The unique patterns of motivation, emotional labor, and relational management defining many women's entrepreneurial journeys, especially in China, remain underrepresented in theory and practice. In this presentation, we share why young Chinese women entrepreneurs need a reality-aligned competence model, how we built and validated an assessment scale, and how we designed and tested a personalized, integrated coaching intervention that drove large, meaningful improvements across core competence domains. Here is our roadmap. First, we present our core objectives and third study research framework. We recap Study 1 and Study 2, which established the competence structure and psychometrics, then focus on Study 3, where we implemented and evaluated the integrated coaching intervention. We will summarize findings, discuss what worked and why, and close with contributions, implications, limitations, and future directions. Finally, we'll share contact information for follow-up, given this is a recorded session. Our project has three core objectives. First, clarify the connotation and structure of entrepreneurial competence for young Chinese women entrepreneurs. Second, enhance assessment by constructing a psychometrically robust, practically interpretable measurement scale for this group. Third, develop and test an effective coaching psychology intervention to improve key competencies. Together, these objectives link theory, measurement, and practice. Our long-term aim is a scalable approach usable by governments, universities, and training providers that identifies developmental needs and delivers personalized change pathways. We structured our research as three linked studies. Study 1, understand the quality trait structure of young Chinese female entrepreneurs. Study 2, construct their entrepreneurial competence model, develop assessment scale. Study 3, develop effective coaching programs to enhance their entrepreneurial competence. This sequence moves from qualitative insight to validated measurement to tested intervention, ensuring coherence between the constructs we measure and the coaching we deploy. In Study 1, 16 one-on-one semi-structured interviews generated rich categories covering motivation, self-management, social rules, business management skills, and entrepreneurial skills. Grounded theory analysis identified how these domains interact in practice and which capabilities frequently co-occur among women who navigated startup uncertainty to profitability. These insights laid the groundwork for the competence structure we later tested quantitatively and informed the coaching focus areas for personalized intervention pathways in Study 3. We then moved to Study 2, which aimed to validate these insights through a broader empirical lens. Grounded in our qualitative findings and existing theoretical frameworks, we created a model and developed a scale specifically for measuring entrepreneurial competence in young Chinese women. Using data from 264 participants, we tested and refined the model, ultimately identifying 5 core domains consistent across the population: motivation and traits, social roles and responsibilities, self-management, business management skills, and entrepreneurial skills. The assessment scale includes 40 items with a 5-point response format. Internal consistency and model fit indices are shown in the figure. Scores were standardized to T-scores using our 264 participant norm, a crucial step enabling interpretation of both individual progress and comparisons to the broader reference group. The T-score framework provides a common metric for tracking trajectories across the T0 to T3 timeline and comparing domain-specific gains. Our findings were striking. While many women showed strong intrinsic motivation and interpersonal sensitivity, areas like risk-taking, opportunity identification, and long-term strategic planning were more unevenly developed. Traditional entrepreneurial education often overlooks the emotional and identity-based aspects of entrepreneurial growth, especially for women. This led to a key realization. Understanding competence is only the first step. The real question is how to help women develop these competencies sustainably, empoweringly, and in line with their lived experience. This question launched Study 3. Drawing on emerging coaching psychology research, we designed a coaching-based intervention integrating cognitive-behavioural coaching, positive psychology, and mindfulness practice. Our goal was not just to teach skills, but to help women reflect on goals, confront limiting beliefs, regulate stress, and build inner resilience.
The primary goal of Study 3 was to design and evaluate a coaching intervention aimed at enhancing entrepreneurial competence among young Chinese women. Two guiding questions frame this stage of the research. First, how can integrated coaching psychology methods strengthen entrepreneurial competence? Second, how effective is such an integrated approach when applied to real entrepreneurial context? To address this question, a multiple case study design was adopted. 6 young Chinese women entrepreneurs participated with a mean age of 29 years old, each engaged in 6 weekly one-on-one coaching sessions over 60 minutes. The intervention plans were personalized for each participant. Data were collected at 4 points: pre-test to mid-tests and post-test. Both the validated entrepreneurial competence scale developed in Study 2 and qualitative interviews were employed to ensure a comprehensive evaluation. The intervention combined 3 complementary approaches. First, cognitive-behavioural coaching, emphasizing goal orientation, problem solving, and reframing limiting beliefs. Second, positive psychology coaching, focusing on strength, identification, resilience, and the cultivation of positive emotions. Third, mindfulness-based coaching designed to build present moment awareness, regulate emotions, and reduce stress. Together, these approaches formed a holistic framework addressing both cognitive and emotional development. The 6-session intervention followed a structured flow. The first session included the pre-test program introduction and an initial interview. Session 2 through 5 involved competence coaching combined with structured reflection. 2 process evaluations were embedded during this period. The final session concluded with a post-test reflection and summary of progress. This sequence provided both systematic structure and individualized flexibility. Each session followed 4 consistent stages. It began with opening and goal setting to establish rapport and clarifying objectives. Next came problem diagnosis and reflection, encouraging participants to examine their current challenges. The main component was the coaching dialogue, lasting around 35 minutes, where techniques such as role play, visualization, and strengths exploration were applied. Finally, sessions ended with summary and feedback, consolidating learning and outlining action steps. The quantitative result demonstrated clear improvements. Across all 6 participants, entrepreneurial competence increased significantly, confirmed by a Wilcoxon-signed rank and a strong significant levels. Enhancing occurred across all 5 dimensions and 20 competence items. In some cases, post-test scores surpassed established norm group averages. Additionally, a spillover effect was observed, with non-targeted competencies also showing improvement. The standardized scores across the intervention timeline show a consistent upward trend. From pre-test to post-test, every participant exhibited stage-by-stage improvement. No declines were observed at any point, highlighting the intervention's consistent effectiveness. A case example illustrates these outcomes more vividly. Emily entered the study with particularly low scores in motivation and traits, struggling with fears of failure and unclear entrepreneurial drive. Her personal goal was to strengthen entrepreneurial confidence. So over 6 sessions, she engaged in cognitive restructuring, future self-dialogue, strengths discovery, behavior experiments, and mindfulness practices. Each session targeted a specific challenge and reinforced her development step by step. The result for Emily was striking. Targeted competencies improved by more than 190%. Moreover, non-targeted dimensions also showed measurable gains reflecting holistic growth. Emily's case highlights the potential of a personalized, integrative coaching program to generate both targeted and broader developmental outcomes. And beyond quantitative results, thematic analysis of participants' interviews revealed 4 major themes. First, enhanced self-awareness. Participants recognized that their motivation were internally driven rather than externally imposed. Second, practical tool acquisition. They reported gaining concrete strategies for stress management and decision-making. Third, confidence building. Uncovering hidden strengths provided courage to face entrepreneurial challenges. And fourth, sustainable change. Participants emphasized that the improvements felt genuine and enduring rather than short-term. Together, these insights complemented the statistical finding and provided a fuller understanding of the intervention's impact.
Our findings demonstrate that the integrated coaching intervention consistently produced positive outcomes across participants. Through personalized one-on-one sessions, repeated competence assessments, and detailed case analysis, we observed significant improvements in entrepreneurial competences. This underscores the unique value of coaching psychology in fostering entrepreneurial development in Chinese contexts. To ensure robustness and generalizability, we employed a multi-case study design involving 6 young female participants as coaches. This approach allowed us to capture both common patterns and individual differences, providing a holistic understanding of the intervention's effects. Next, I will elaborate on these commonalities and differences one by one. All coaches exhibited continuous stage-by-stage growth in entrepreneurial competence throughout the intervention. Although the rate and magnitude of improvement varied, none of the coaches regressed, indicating the stability and positive influence of the coaching process. The intervention produced dual-directional improvement. Not only were areas of weakness strengthened, but existing strengths were further enhanced. For instance, coaches like Sarah, Kate showed notable progress in social roles and responsibility, a dimension critical to entrepreneurial success. We also observed the spillover effect. Improvements were not confined to targeted competences, but extended to non-targeted areas as well. This aligns with Grant's findings and suggests that the intervention fostered overall cognitive and motivational shifts, enhancing self-efficacy and self-determination. However, outcomes vary significantly across individuals. Key factors influencing the degree of improvement included baseline competence, the specificity of intervention, focused versus distributed, and the level of individual engagement. A concentrated intervention strategy led to pronounced improvement in targeted dimensions, as seen with Lucy, Zoe, and Grace. In contrast, a distributed approach, as used with Sarah, helped reduce disparities between stronger and weaker competences. Notably, coaches with prior entrepreneurial experience, Sarah, Grace, and Kate, exceeded the normative mean after the intervention. Those without such experience, like Emily, Lucy, and Zoe, did not reach this threshold. This indicates that self-efficacy and experiential background serve as critical moderators. Let's now examine how the intervention influenced specific competence dimensions. In motivation and traits, cognitive behavioral coaching helped reframe failure and clarify entrepreneurial intentions. Positive psychology coaching reinforced strengths and future self-connections, boosting hope and courage. In social roles and responsibility, combining positive psychology and mindfulness coaching helped coaches leverage rational strengths more effectively, improving strategic networking and collaboration. For self-management, cognitive behavioral techniques reduced negative affect and cognitive dissonance, while mindfulness practices enhanced emotional regulation and sustained attention. In business management skills, the combination of cognitive behavioral and positive psychology coaching clarified goals and resource advantages, and strengthen perceived control and leadership. Finally, entrepreneurial skills such as opportunity recognition, decision-making, and risk management were elevated through the combined effects of all three approaches. From a practical perspective, our study validates that short-term, cost-effective coaching, only 6 sessions, can significantly enhance entrepreneurial competence, offering a cost-effective path for entrepreneurship education. We have developed a replicable, structured framework integrating CBC, PPC, and MBC. This model facilitates a shift from expert-led instruction to self-driven growth, emphasizing non-directive and empowerment-based coaching. At the individual level, this approach empowers female entrepreneurs by closing the gap between ambition and ability, supporting smoother career transitions and stronger agency. For organizations, it provides a blueprint for redesigning entrepreneurship education, shifting from theory-heavy curricula to competency-based learning, and potentially reducing early-stage startup failures. On a broader scale, empowering female entrepreneurs contributes to economic innovation, challenges gender stereotypes, and promotes greater equality through visible role models. We acknowledge several limitations, including self-report bias, the lack of control group, short-term focus, and the absence of objective business performance metrics. Future research should incorporate randomized controlled trials, multi-source and longitudinal data, subgroup analysis, and digital tool integration to enhance validity and scalability. Thanks for watching. We welcome any questions you may have. Please feel free to reach out our team using the contact information on the screen. Thank you.